It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the Campbellsville flag football coach, Coach Chris Kidwell. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you, Brandon?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in coaching in college flag football?
The journey started a little over 3 years ago. I was been working in public schools at Campbellsville Independent School District for 27 years. Coached football, was a middle school principal, was a finance officer, did a lot of different things for the school district. And a big part of that was been coaching as well. And the athletic director at Campbellsville University and I used to coach high school football together. And when they were discussing starting the flag program, he reached out to me to see if I might be interested in applying. And started doing some research and finding out the fast-growing game of flag football across the nation. And I thought it sounded like a great new chapter of my life and a new chapter of my coaching. And I thought it'd be a great challenge and an opportunity to bring a new sport to these young ladies and give them an opportunity to play the game of football.
What was that experience like for you getting to play collegiate football for the university?
It was awesome. I tell the girls all the time, you know, the experience that you get playing college athletics is something that unless you've experienced it, it's hard to explain to people. But it is life changing. The relationships and the experiences that you gain during those hopefully 4 years is something that will stay with you for the rest of your life.
What was that experience like getting into coaching and first being the wide receiver coach for the Campbells?
That's going back a lot of years. Yeah, that was kind of one of my first opportunities to start coaching. I was a grad assistant at it was at Campbellsville College then. It was before it became a university. And telling my age a little bit, but it was a great experience. I got to work with, you know, coaches that had previously coached me. And started learning some of the behind the scenes things and learned a whole lot more about it. It's not just the X's and O's when it comes to coaching. It's so much more than that, and the relationships and a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that most people never see or know about.
How's your experience like traveling around the world to Europe and Denmark and coaching in there?
That was another great experience. And again, it was an opportunity that was brought to me because of connections and relationships I had from playing college football. And I knew when I got finished playing, I still had that desire. I wanted to play some more. And, you know, there's, you know, after college, unless you're ready to go into the NFL, which I was obviously not, then there's not a lot of opportunities, you know, in the U.S. At that time, there wasn't. But in Europe, American football was still, you know, growing and gaining a lot of popularity. And I was given the opportunity to go over there and do some coaching and to continue playing as well. And it was a great experience and made a lot of good friends from that experience. And still today, that's transitioned to being able to continue those relationships, and some of those friends and families have come in to visit us, and we've gone to visit them since then. And so it was a great cultural experience for me and my family as well.
Coming back home, what was that experience like starting up the flag football program and being the inaugural coach?
A lot of trial and error. It was a lot of learning because starting the program from complete scratch. Not having a roster, not having a locker room, not having uniforms, not having anything. It was a challenge. Luckily I had Coach Jeff Richardson that started to help me with starting the program. And we were able to, and we had coached high school together for many years. So we already had a relationship and knew each other and able to work through a lot of those growing pains, together. But the recruiting for a program and for a sport in the state of Kentucky that did not exist was probably one of the most challenging things I've ever done, for sure. Going to high schools and trying to talk to these young ladies that have played, soccer and softball and basketball, volleyball, and all these other sports. And then you talk to them about playing flag football, and, they may have played once or twice, in a powder puff game at homecoming. So that was a challenge, definitely, the recruiting part of it.
For you as a head coach, what was that feeling like the first time you stepped onto the flag football field?
It was exciting. It was knowing that, starting something new and being a part of that. And there was a lot of excitement with it and a lot of anxiety as well, too. And especially for the young ladies, the members of that first team, there was a lot of uncertainty, but there was a lot of excitement, too, along with it.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you've built for the flag football program at Campbellsville?
Yeah, it's we really try to emphasize family. Most of our girls are from out of state because Kentucky did not have a widespread flag football program in the high schools and still doesn't yet. So a lot of our students and student athletes were from out of state. So we try to incorporate some things that give them an opportunity to become part of our family here in a small community. And we do movie nights or go canoeing, just try to do some things that would give them a chance to bond and become a team, and to give them an opportunity to, experience new things in a new state. So like I said, so many of them had never even been to the state of Kentucky before.
As a head coach, have you been able to take your football experience over to your flag football experience?
I think it's been very relatable because it's all about, competing in life. That's one thing that sports does for you as an individual is it makes you a competitor and be able to do things maybe even when you don't want to do them. That's a life lesson as well. And I use a lot of things that Coach Finley and Coach Reiner and some of my college coaches, Coach Graves, that would tell us and talk to us about. I find myself telling those same stories or using those same analogies, with our young ladies on this flag team as well, too. So even though they're, 20, 30, 40 years old, they're still relevant today.
Who are some of the teams in your conference that you compete against?
So right now we're still independent. Hopefully that's going to change next year with some other Kentucky and Tennessee colleges now adding the sport. But we are probably next year will be in the Mid-South Conference, which should include Lindsay, Cumberland, Milligan. I just heard Midway announced. So we're finally getting some other, colleges in the state that are going to offer flag football for next year. So up to this point, we've done a whole lot of traveling. We've gone out to the Kansas conference and played games out there. We've gone to Florida several times and played some of the teams in Florida and in Georgia as well. Georgia's come a long way and offered a lot of universities that are have flag programs now as well. So we do a lot of traveling. This year we're going to Michigan. We're going to Missouri. We've already been to Florida for a preseason tournament this fall. So you got to have good, strong academics and be ready to travel if you're going to come here.
What is it like getting to play teams like Midland, Holy Family, Milligan, and Life?
Those are all good experiences. They've got good programs, good established coaches. It's, all those with the exception of Milligan are in a conference. So sometimes it's kind of hard to get a home and away game with some of those schools, but we're very familiar with Milligan. We've played them several times. I think we played 4 times last year. And we usually scrimmage them a couple times. So we're very familiar with their program and their team, and they do a really good job down in Tennessee with that program. And so it's it's exciting. It'll be exciting next year too to have some, I guess, new competition to play here locally too. So we'll be able to have some more home events, and that should help grow the sport as well.
What is that home game atmosphere like when teams like Milligan comes to home versus going away to Life?
It's nice because we play right here on campus, and Campbellsville's got a great stadium and a great campus and a good student body support. So we'll have a good crowd that'll be there, and the parents and grandparents, and it's still a pretty new sport in the state of Kentucky. So one thing that we try to do is offer for any of the local high school female athletes that want to come, they can get in free and watch the game and kind of learn and see if that might be something they'd be interested in.
What does that recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes looking to play flag football in college?
The first question I always ask the young ladies is, what's your GPA? Because that's the most important thing. You got to be able to make the grades if you're going to, play college athletics. And then Campbellsville does a very good job of, they put the most scholarship money for academics. We do have some flag scholarship money. It's not a great deal, but we can stack scholarships. So we'll put some flag money on top of their academics. And then there's other grants and scholarships they can apply for too. But because we are kind of isolated, and most of our young ladies that come to our school with flag experience are coming from out of state. The second question I usually ask them, are you willing to come to Kentucky? Are you sure this is what you want to do? Coming from South Florida or coming from Las Vegas or Colorado. Campbellsville is a great community and a great college and great facilities and great people. But it's, if you're looking fraternities and sororities and, big city life, this is not it.
As a head coach, what is it like seeing those freshmen put on that flag football uniform representing the university?
I think I see a lot of pride, kind of dreams answered, for a lot of them. And I tell the girls this all the time, they're getting an opportunity, to play out and to live a lot of these high school girls' dreams. It's easy to say you want to be a college athlete. I want to go to college. I want to play football, or I want to play college basketball or softball. But the reality of making it happen and making it through it, making it work is not easy. And so when you see the success and see those young ladies be able to accomplish that and come back year 2 and 3 and 4, there's a lot of pride in that.
As a head coach, what is it like seeing those seniors putting on that uniform for the last time?
Well, we're just kind of experiencing that now because of our, we've just been a very young program. We had a young lady that started the program with us in our initial year, the fall of 2022, Maddie Hurley. And she actually graduated this past December. So she was with us for, 2.5 years and was our first senior to graduate from that inaugural team. And it was very special to see her walk across the stage and see her be a part of that. And that's what it's all about, to get that piece of paper. The football is the fun part and the experience part, but the piece of paper is the ultimate goal.
Of course, as a head coach with the Olympics coming up, what will it feel like to see a player going into the Olympics playing flag football?
I think that would be awesome. I'm glad they're adding it as a sport. That's going to be some stiff competition to get to that level, because you're going to have, all these athletes all across the United States, competing for those spots. But that will be something to see it played at the Olympic level for sure.
What are some of the things that you've learned so far about coaching flag football that you didn't know beforehand?
There's some little rule, I guess, things that are different than regular football or tackle football. That definitely are different. The absence of the kicking game, no field goals or extra points, and the kickoffs, or everything. There's a lot of little different things like that. The clock running, so it's a very, very fast-paced game. It doesn't get bogged down or slowed down by a lot of things that tackle football does. So I think it's very, very exciting, and I've come to accustom. That's what I want to watch now. I want a game lasts maybe an hour and a half, And there is action, every snap. It doesn't seem like there's as many penalties, not a lot of things that slow the game down like it does in tackle football. And I think that makes it even more exciting for the fans to watch.
What are some of your future plans for the program moving forward?
We're still, we've got our roster right around 30 players, and that's kind of where we want to maintain that. So the girls will have an opportunity, and it's something that's manageable for us to travel and, stay within our budget confines. But we want to, obviously we want to compete at the highest level we can. We've gone the last 2 years to Atlanta to the national tournament. Haven't fared as well. We've had some very difficult draws, but that's part of it. You can only be the best if you play the best. So that's something that we want to be able to, this year our goal is to get above 500 in our win-loss column, and then we want to win at least one game, possibly two down in Atlanta this spring.
What advice would you have those freshmen entering their first year of college flag football?
Stay focused, go to class, take care of your body, nutrition, sleep, weights. It's a grind. It's I use this stat, and you can research this. Only 7%, and it's actually less than this for females, but only 7% of high school athletes go on to play a collegiate varsity sport nationwide. So it's not easy. So it's a grind. It's a grind, but it's obviously it pays for itself in so many ways and very rewarding.
What advice would you have those seniors that have aspirations of playing in the Olympics in flag football?
Put in the work. You can't just practice when your coach tells you to practice. If you want to be better than everybody else and have that opportunity, you've got to put in the time and the effort outside of just when you have team practice.
What advice would you give those coaches that are looking to build a flag football program to their college or university?
And we've learned too that, it's finding athletes that are dedicated to and are coachable. That's the main thing. Obviously it's nice to have girls that have flag experience, but they don't always have to have flag experience to be the best flag football player. But they've got to, be athletic. They have to be coachable, and they have to be disciplined.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you on social media along with the program
We are on Instagram and Twitter, a little bit of Facebook, but it's all Cville Flag FB. If you type in CVILLE and flag, it should pop up for you.
Thank you again, Chris Kidwell, for your interview, and best luck in your future at Campbellsville University as the head flag football coach.
All right. Thank you, Brandon. Have a great day.
Thank you. You can find Braden Sports Talk on Instagram at Braden Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Braden, and you can find me on YouTube at Braden Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Chris Kidwell, for your interview, and best luck in your future.
Thank you, sir.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.